Hello and welcome to the 99th episode of Rambling Wiki. Goodness gracious. Almost at 100. Woo! Exciting. How's everybody been? Hope you've been well. I've been... alright. Admittedly a little lazy at some points. It wasn't too overly stressful this week for me. Though, I don't know. I'm a bit behind on things. I have... been stop and go with the writing, but it's starting to pick up again, which is nice. I think I might have mentioned it, but I'm around 50 some odd pages. If I didn't mention it last week, well, that's where I'm at, around 50 some odd pages. Not great, because I'd like to be at 200 by the end of the year, if not more. So I need to pick up the pace. But that's been going to work. It was a full week of work. Wasn't overly excessive or anything like that, and actually I'm taking a couple days off next week and just doing some local traveling here and there, so it'll be nice, albeit depending on how things go, because this is Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, and we are 2 days away from people going crazy one way or the other with political voting stuff, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just hoping people aren't loop-de-loop. That is where I'm at currently on that front. Yeah. I'm gonna take a peek. I played a tiny bit of Caves of Qud this week. Not terribly much, but a little bit. But I will say this: I don't know how much longer the sale is for, but Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4 are available on Steam, and they have a sale that's still going on. It's still going on for another day. Currently of this recording, so by Monday noon Eastern Standard Time, there's a sale going on for Valkyria Chronicles 1, and it's only $5, and then there's the bundle with 1 and 4, making it only $13.48. Highly recommend it. I actually really like both of those games. I did not like 2, partially because of the whole school setting thing. That really wasn't my jam, but also the maps are really truncated, and understandably so. You're right. You're going from the PS3 to the PSP, so I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do. However, I don't know. It just made it really weird. And truthfully, I remember early on in that second game, it getting obnoxious, where you're trying to blast some of these early bosses, and it's like, okay, I've got 5 machine gunners. I don't even remember what the heck they're. I don't remember what their classes are, but and it wasn't that many. It was a couple, but it's like, dude's not going down. I mean, it's been probably close to 12 years since I even tried playing it, and I don't even have it anymore. So it is what it is, but they try to change it a little bit with the third, and I don't know. It's one of those things where it's such a cool little. Sure, it's basically riffing on World War II. That's fine. That's not a big deal. Like, more to the point though. It's like just taking that idea and running with it. It's sure, is it difficult? Maybe first couple times you're going through it or something, it might be a little annoying. Or there might be some battles where you're like, but just the idea of being able to run around, pick spots, and the style of that tactical game is really cool. I like it. I really enjoy it, especially some of those battles, because I think it's in the 4th one. There's you're having to basically run into the teeth of what would be, was it the Maginot Line, basically, like the French style of they had these gun turrets that they placed after World War I, I believe, where it was basically there to just like stop, or at least threaten to stop Germany. And I think they had them there as well for World War I, but they had like reinforced them and stuff. But by the time of World War II, that's where the Blitzkrieg came in and just cut through them, or cut around them even, and it was just like, okay, you got that line of fortresses there, we're going the other way. We're just gonna go right through you, and you kind of have to do that yourself. If you just try to run through, you will get gunned down. So, I don't know. I really like those games. I know Sushi and I did a Power Run podcast on the first one, and I might do a video on the fourth one. Like I said, I really like the games, those two in particular, and I highly recommend them if you've never got around to playing them, because at least 1 and 4 are on Steam, and I imagine they're on GOG. Could be wrong, but they're fun experiences. They're enjoyable games. That's all I gotta say about that. Trying to remember, I can't remember the guy who did the music. He did the music for Tactics, I think, as well, like Final Fantasy Tactics. I can't remember who. I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna bother me. Valkyria Chronicles composer. Nope. Yeah, Hitoshi Sakamoto. Yeah, that's yeah, and he did a bunch of stoofs, but I don't remember all the stoofs he's done. That's why I'm going and clicking on his name and going down. Let's see. Yes, he did. He did part of that. Oh, he did Radiant and Silvergun. I did not know that. Tactics Ogre, Vagrant Story, Ogre Battle, Gradius 5, Final Fantasy 12's music. Yeah, he's done a lot. Dragon's Crown. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of stuff. Good on him. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so that I haven't really done too much. I dabbled a little bit in Caves of Qud, but I brought up Valkyria Chronicles because I'm kind of, not only because it's got that sale going on, but I kind of have an itch to want to play 1 and 4 again. Not that I'm like super good at them or anything, especially 4, because I've only played through 4 once. But I've played through Valkyria Chronicles, the first one, twice, I think. I could be wrong. I think I've played through it twice. I know on Steam I've played it a booming 20 minutes, but so there's like, because I have the PS3 version, and it does not I didn't have the DLC or anything, so the DLC stuff would be nice. Plus you get to have who are those two? You get to have the two kind of like Vice and Zyka? Is that who that is? The ones that it looked like the two characters from oh shoot, I can see it. I can see the game. What is it? I can see it. Skies of Arcadia. The two main characters from that, and that's always I like that. To me, it's not like deeply embedded sort of connections or anything of that kind of thing. It's just a nice wink and nod. I think it's done to a much poorer degree with having Cloud in Final Fantasy Tactics, but it also gives me that schadenfreude that he's a terrible character in that game, and I'm one of those that don't like Final Fantasy VII, so I'm like, yeah, but I am, if anything, petty when it comes to that sort of thing. It's just the goblin in me comes out, and it's just like, yes, because there are just infinitely so many cooler characters in Tactics. That's one of those things that I love about that game, besides all the political intrigue and the retranslated version. Yeah, that's right, I like that one a lot more. But besides that, just all the odds and ends, random characters you can get that cool on the people who were able to find it and put that out there, because I know there are certainly some of those that I could never get into, or I would never have been able to figure out to find. So, yeah, that is. Yeah. What else has been going on? Been keeping up with my little bike, little pedal machine. That's been good. Been keeping up on my weights. That's been good. I've been feeling pretty good about myself. Feeling pretty spry. Even if I haven't done as good of a job at keeping up with writing and stuff like that. Like I'll have, it's been going on, so you probably hear undertone music. I brought it back. This time I'm actually I'm seeding it with my own tunes and stuff, and I'll have links for all the different tunes that I use of mine. And I was listening through just like some stuff of mine. There's a song that I forgot that I have that I never released, or like put on the channel, I should say, or uploaded on it, anything. I might have done it for whatever the shoot, I can't remember what the one music. Oh, what the heck is that called? I never use it. SoundCloud, that's what it is. I might have put it on SoundCloud and then forgot to put it up on YouTube, but I was like, sweet, and I hadn't listened to it in a while. I mean, it's more of an ambient sort of tune that was going to be for an area or like a location, so like an underground forest in a way. So yeah, the title of it's like Hypogean Tension. So I don't know. It's not like it's gonna blow anybody away with anything melodically or anything of that sort. But I was listening to it and I was like, I really, because I had one. I probably like it without the filling, just the sound of it and stuff versus the filling. But I was listening to it, and then for whatever reason, I just kind of checked through the contents on my channel for the playlist for it, and even just through the videos, and I was like, I never uploaded this one. Whoops. Looks like I need to fix that. So it'll probably just be like an image or something, because I don't know if I've got I might have the file for it. I'll have to look through if I've got it on here or if it was on my old computer or something. But I don't know. It's been slowly coming back around to wanting to fiddle with music stuff. It's been a while on that front. It's it's something you just do. If I was paid to do something like that, yeah, I'd be a little bit more like, I need to keep on this and stuff. But A, there are a lot of talented people in there, and B, I'm not one of them. I mean, I certainly would still be comfortable enough now to use that music if I was to ever be able to put like a game together for something. I would feel more comfortable with it now than I would have maybe at the start of it, but because I've been going through and just kind of listening to it, and not necessarily a like an egotistical, like, oh, look how good I am. It's like no, you didn't do too bad with that. It wasn't completely awful. I could enjoy listening to this. Good job on you. So, and that actually is going to kind of tie into this topic a little bit here, and that is this rinse and repeat, one time done sort of thing. I want to talk about this a little bit because this is something that we, as in basically people who put out stuff on social media, I think it has been exacerbated by social media, like Vine, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, yada 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 yada, like all of it. There is that it is this, not just simply the impetus to want to be done or be out there first with something, but nothing that has any sort of staying power. And like, what I mean by that is, are there, for example, back in my day, in the year 2021, no, that's not far enough back. 2011, 2009, 2010. Though it feels like just 3 years has been long, but the 10, 15 years ago, and probably more 15 years ago. Anyways, a while back in the olden days of YouTube and stuff, there was a lot of and people still do this to some degree. They'll put out a video, but the video is more for just the moment. And I'm like, for example, games I've been playing recently, or pickup videos and stuff. Something that isn't, it's like a little bit of a blip that might spur on some conversation, but doesn't really have much in the way of staying power. Very momentary. I could certainly point to a lot of early videos of mine, especially in the same front, because you have those, and then you may check them out, but how frequently are you going to check them out after you've seen those things before? Maybe you go back, if you're feeling nostalgic and want to watch an old Gamester 81, or Happy Console Gamer, or one of the ancient Pete Dorr videos, or Retro Snow, or Retro TV Show, or just something of that sort, and really dive back into the ancient days, and not to be like wistful and nostalgic and be like, oh, bring those back, but more of just, you have those in the moment, and then you're not coming back to them. And I don't mean that channel or that sort of thing, but those videos in particular, I think it's just hard to do, right? Especially if you did see those outside of like some sort of wistful nostalgia to want to watch it. And so that's partly why, like, with what I've done, I try to make stuff that has gotten a little bit better about being less strictly for the moment, so to say, or a one-time deal. So I feel like reviews and stuff is a little bit harder, and ways that people have tried to circumnavigate that difficulty is to make it very academic, with a whole bunch of details, and almost in a documentary kind of sense. Documentary. I don't think that's quite. We're going with it though. So you can watch it again just from the simple fact of there being a glut of information, and you can be like, well, yeah, I'll kind of come back and rewatch this at some point. Or what ends up happening is, just because it is an extended viewing experience or listening experience, that you just naturally come back to it because it's such a long thing. Like, for example, the Hardcore History. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, just kind of, I'm going to listen to the 6-part the fall of the Roman Republic, or I think, was that a 6-part? I think that's what that was, but just because it's like, okay, hour and a half, and then it's a 6-hour video at the end, because why not? But the I guess my thing is like, we've been training ourselves a lot to have that in the moment sort of spur, and to just be like, yes, let's get something out there, let's do the funny, let's have what have you, and that has that momentary whatever go on, little chuckles or whatnot, but then it's because that's all there is, you gotta have that like repeat, boom 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 boom, and because of the nature of like something very quick, and our attention spans, there's really a lack of an ability to be maybe profound, or to have some sort of really interesting, introspective point to make, or introspective in case of the personal, or maybe like the communal or societal, or just the nature of human beings. Something like that isn't going to be well encapsulated in a 30-second video. Like, it's just not going to happen. That sort of profound, it's almost like you're snacking on a really tasty chip. Bag of potato chips. It might have that really good crunch. It might have that really good taste and flavor for that moment. But A, if it is devoid of any sort of context. B, if it is like, it's all like surface level. You gotta go, you gotta go a level beyond. You gotta go Super Saiyan 3 to try to like push beyond it, because that's what it feels like a lot of times, is that there's like, we get into these habits, or we feel like we've unlocked something, but because we're all, not all of us, but a lot of us are not very good at of communicating, expressing these things, that when the profound hits and we want to make something about it, or just what have you, or I've got the secret knowledge, the secret sauce to crack the code on whatever it is, whatever is ailing us that we feel like can be explained away in a quick little Instagram, TikTok video, what have you. It's the same thing. It's that momentary feel good, but then it's gone, and then you've got to, it's kind of the difference between like a motivation and drive, right? Because drive is certainly what you need. Motivation is kind of like adding fuel to that already, like, which should hopefully be a self-sustained roaring, raging fire to get you going. Like, I mean, putting that question out there, what is there, what, like, do people go back and watch things? For example, do people go back and watch streams that they've seen before? And how frequently does that happen? Is that something that's like, I bring up streams in particular because, like, I feel like those are bad culprits for things that it's just like, okay, yeah, you can cut out and chop up the whatchamacallit, the highlights of something, but it's still the same sort of thing, right? Where it's like, okay, there's just something completely obscene being said here. Oh, it's chocolate worthy, what have you. But it's there and gone in the moment, right? And it's like, it's an experience. If you watch the whole stream, that's hours long, and then it is, yeah, you might have a chuckle out of it. Maybe you might derive a funny joke from it, or see something or hear somebody say something that's like, oh, okay, chew on it a little bit. But it is not. It's. I don't want to say it's not anything more than surface level, because that's not right. Because some people could be having some very, very deep, maybe philosophical or just emotional conversations and just parsing that stuff out. But streams, I think, is a little bit harder to do, because it's like, oh, we're pointing out these things, and it's almost like they're news reporters on a much more focused scale. In the sense of less geographical and more cultural news reporters. Get a lot of those. But I think that might be part of the issue with what I've said before about how there's just a degradation. There's not a leap forward in the sense of, and leaping forward could mean we're jumping into a pit, but like of an evolution in the sense of like building off of like a cultural sense, because there's just so many of these pump 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 that you're really not able to sustain it, and then it just sort of, it has that puncture moment, but then it just recedes back to the norm or the average, what have you, what it used to be before. I mean, for example, we got people going off one way or the other for the that new Dragon Age game, and it's like, okay, what is this entailing? What are we doing with this? Because it's like people are talking about, oh well, it's only got this many views or this many concurrent players. Look how hideous these characters are. Look at all this sort of yada yada yada. Or oh, I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. I'm about 5 hours in. I don't know how I feel about it just yet. Yada yada yada. What is coming out of that though? Like. That, and also, are the people who dislike it, they're not going to have an interest in trying to revisit this at any point. They've made up their mind, and the people who are playing through it, once they get through it, if they've enjoyed it, will they be going back through it again, or will they just kind of go to the next thing? Kind of got, and I get that when you like play through and completely just trounce a game, like it's kind of hard to go back unless you're going in for something. Cough, cough. Look at the one dude who, Suigi or whatever, just broke the 120 star record for Mario. Like, there's not a lot of those people going about. And I personally struggle with this when it comes to movies, games, books, just revisiting something. Because it's like, oh, well, I've read through it, or I've played through it. What do I need to do that when I have all these other things? And so you've got this, and I don't know how other people are. I'm not in their noggins. So you kind of wonder, would somebody go back through it? Like, would somebody reread Sudraba? I've personally not even gone back through it, even though I should at some point, to do some cleanup and whatnot. But it's like, it is just kind of like, it is there. With Sager's Calling Part 1, it's like I put it together, and I'm putting Part 2 in, and I'm like, I'm not necessarily thinking along the lines of, oh, somebody's only going to read this once or something. More of my mind is, if somebody is rereading it and whatnot, I hope that they find these little winks and nods to things that would, or that do point to revelations and ideas and concepts that will come to fruition as the book comes along, or as the books come along. So you just kind of but I don't know if people do that, or if they purposely try to be overt with their, like, if they have any sort of Easter eggs and stuff, or if the Easter eggs are just kind of silly things, like I mentioned before about the maybe it's Ica. Maybe that's Ica. Maybe it's Ica. Vice and Ica. Maybe I should have looked it up. Anyways, but it's not the be all end all to bring them in and whatnot. And I guess I would say with Sudraba, I think would be intended to be reread again at some point, because it is, for as short as it is, it's rather dense in how it's kind of pulling and pushing apart conflicting ideas on certain things, and trying to be like, well, it's, what are you supposed to be doing, what you should do, what you end up doing, and those kind of inner struggles and outer vocal struggles. What's the, how do you feel about saying something versus the doing? Because it's like, when you say something, saying something means absolutely nothing until it's compared to what you're doing. So you can say a lot of different things. However, all that pretty language means nothing when it's compared to what you're doing. It comes in very stark contrast. kind of grappling with those ideas, right? And whatnot. And so I think you can go back through that, and also dealing with one of those main characters being an absolute sociopath. A very dark sociopath, which I always it was the less of a hero's journey and more of like exploring the mindset of somebody who feels like their life is already over before it's really had too much of a chance to begin, and then getting the thing that you want, and then years after. What kind of mindset are you in then? That's kind of exploring one of those characters. So, and then, like, I'll say this, spoiler alert, the Sager's Calling Book 1 and Book 2 to some degree will have this, but it is an exploration of limerence, of kind of being in your own head a little too much and thinking that, and some other stuff, but I think that those are... I think it's an important thing that concept, emotion, exploration that I don't think we do well enough with or talk too much about. It seemed like it was a word that didn't really crop up until recently, the last handful of months or so, of what limerence is, and I think that's something that we as a people with technology are suffering more and more from because of just social media and whatnot. Anyways, it's getting a little off track, I guess, but this is why I'm rambling, but with the Fire Emblem videos, like the Genealogy of Holy War ones, like it's 6 parts. It's going to be 6 parts when I get done with doing the episodic thing. However, I'm going to shove it all together and then add an additional 7th part. And then little clips here and there so that people who had already seen those parts, even if they had watched them over like a long period of time, because, I still got to play through chapters 10 and the epilogue. But I'm hoping to get this done before the end of the year. But they've spent those, saw it back in April or May or whatever, and then just kind of putting out once a month, every other month, every 6 weeks or so, and getting that, kind of a little rusty, but do you want to really watch through it all again? Or that's why, like, when I'm going to shove it all together, I'm going to add in a couple things here and there maybe, and then also that additional 7th part, which is... gives an incentive to rewatch it. Plus, also to go back through and have to re-record some of that stuff would kind of be a pain in the butt. Just saying, because the nature of it is I don't have an excessive amount of space. I've got like, and to me it sounds like a lot. I have 300. So 250 gig hard drives, and then I think I have altogether 100 gigs of free space. But because of the nature of the recording through the Elgato, and I don't know why I said it like that, through the cat, through the Elgato, it takes a lot. And I know I could reduce the recording rate or whatever, but it's like it's already at whatever it's at, so I'm not even going to try to adjust it at this point. Though it's still maddening to me to have that stupid green bar through it. It gives it its own little touch, but oh boy, does that make me mad that I can't get rid of it. And I know what it's coming from. It's coming from my UP. The upscaler UP. How about the upscaler? The AV to HDMI upscaler that I have. I know it's coming from that, but I don't have a way to fix it. Like, I've tried using different ones, and it still does that to me. So it's like, okay, like that's partially why it's taken me so long to really get back into doing that, because I don't like to use the. I don't have a whatchamacallit. I'm not I don't sail the seven seas, yo ho ho, so I don't have any of that sort of stuff. So I'm just kind of like, okay. I mean, it'd probably work if I had to for games I do own, but to figure all that out, I am infinitely stupid. So it's yeah. So basically, with that, it's the idea is I don't, maybe confident is one word for it, but for me, it's more of how I am personally. Is like, I know that if somebody did what I am doing with this, where it's putting out stuff episodically and then I shove it all together, and I have watched all those, I probably won't even feel the need to rewatch it for one, which is fine. And then even with that part 7, I'd probably just jump to the part 7. Like I said, I'm going to add in some other little stuff here and there, so maybe trying to go back through. It gives a little incentive to rewatch it, kind of thing. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to combat with is this, like, all these rambling weeklies, like, they are things that I think you could go back through, and they're timed in certain ways due to, like, talking about articles released, and then just certain things like AI and whatnot. But they are intended to be a little bit more timeless in that you can just pick it up and then listen to it. And then if you're, you kind of have some thoughts about something and you happen to re-listen to something, you can be like, oh, you can just skip the how's it been, how you been, and the intro part, and get into the topic. And the topic is a little bit less. That's the intention for it. It's a little bit more than just, you can just listen to it once and be done with it. As somebody calls me, time out. Alright, an hour and some change later, I'm back. I tried to listen to, get my train of thought back onto it, and basically where I guess I was going with that whole spiel was, I'm trying to have things that are, I'm trying to eat my cake and have it too. Have things that'll just be good for the moment and whatnot, but also things that are that you can come back to at any point to be like, I don't feel like I'm FOMO or something, a fear of missing out on something, because golly gee, that would not be good. But yeah, that's kind of where I was going. And not necessarily that one is better or worse, because I think you need those, because sometimes the spontaneity of something random will just be like, that makes it interesting. Now we can have some interesting talks or what have you springing forth from it, and yeah, it was just more of, I guess, kind of talking about that and being like, we seem to unfortunately have a heavy lean towards this more immediate pop, without having much in the way of sustaining push, though there are those, for lack of a better word, pillars of things that, or at least in the sense of videos, I think there's a, but because it's more of a documentary kind of thing, because for example, like Majuler with, like right now he's been going through Ultima games, so it's a little bit more of a documentary sort of thing. So it's less springboarding from, much like what you'd have with, say, like books or elongated TV series and stuff like that. But even then, with the TV series, if they're doing all sorts of stuff, but anyways, we're just going to cut it there, because my train of thought has spiraled into things unknown. So we will just leave it there for today. But I don't know. I just want, if anybody wants to comment and let me know what they like, or if there are sustained shows and stuff that they even though they've watched it a few times, they like to go back through, maybe find something. Maybe it is a bit of a comforting thing. There's, for example, for me, there's a lot of things that I like show-wise that like, for example, Deadwood. I really liked that TV show. It's 36 episodes. It's from HBO, so every episode's about, not quite an hour, but close to an hour or so. 36 episodes and a movie. I took years to get through that. I still haven't gone through all of Castlevania, and I have all 4 seasons of that. I'm still on I haven't started season 3, but that's where I'm at. I finished up seasons 1 and 2, and I'm on season 3. I can't even. It's really, for whatever reason, I have a hard time with it, and I have a hard time once I've completed something to go back to it. For whatever reason, my brain's like, okay, done, and that's not fair. And I know that people put in work to be more than just simply a one-time thing. But for example, movie 7, or not 7. Why did I say 7? That's not the right one. The other one with Kevin Spacey as the bad guy. The Usual Suspects. Like, it's a really enjoyable film, but once you know the thing that I've said, but once you know what's going on, it's not as nearly as enjoyable. For whatever reason. Maybe it's just because of you're trying to play detective along with, but the natures of entertainment and the like. So, that's what I got. So, sorry for kind of completely falling off the wagon at the end. Just blame the phone call. It's all their fault. But, for the outro, we're going to play a tune called, it's from one of those dance games. I've got a CD. I actually did a video on it eons ago, but I got a CD of different dance tunes, and they are really good tunes for a game series I will never play, B have no interest in playing, but I like the music. Music's really good. But it's for a hentai series. It's just in case if you are interested at all. But this is from one of those games, and it's called Slaver. It's a good tune. Pretty rough tune. I like it. Yeah, that's all I got. So, thanks for listening. Enjoy your day, weekday, weekend, weeknight, and everything in between. That's it. Catch you next week for hopefully it'll be next week, fingers crossed, but for episode 100. Woo! So, see you then. Toodles!